Before we get into the podcast today, I want to thank today's sponsors. First of which is the gallery. This year we're all looking for that perfect holiday gift, and today I want to tell you about the gallery. The gallery shop is a curated collection of photographs from around the world. All prints are made from 100% recycled aluminum, giving your wall that gallery finish. Right now for the holiday season, the gallery is exclusively offering our listeners 25% off your next purchase using the code Inebri-art. That's 25% off your next purchase at thegallery.com. That's the GALRY using the code Inebri-art, the gallery to create your perfect space. Second of all, our returning sponsor is the Pretentious Pickle. Hannah, do you know about the Pretentious Pickle?
Yes.
You didn't know I was going to bring you, did I?
No,
surprise you. Okay, so the Pretentious Pickle is a local shop down here on Water Street in Plymouth. They are located at 190 Water Street. And Hannah, you're just telling us that your sister's a huge fan.
She loves the Pretentious Pickle.
Yeah.
She's a big fan.
Nice.
I don't want to say number one, but she's up there.
Well, it's hard to be the number one fan. They're super popular. They do a weekly giveaway on their Facebook page.
Yeah.
And they get thousands of people entering it. So if you're a fan of pickles, and it's not just cucumbers, it's all pickled vegetables and assorted local things, bakery items, farm to table type stuff. Make sure you check out their website, thepretentiouspickle.com. And you can find them at 190 Water Street, Plymouth, Mass. And tell Lorraine we sent you.
Jazz magician.
A jazz magician? That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be sick, dude.
Being like, I'm going to pull a squirrel out of my hat.
A squirrel.
Or an ostrich.
I'm playing an E sus 9 chord.
It's all loosey-goosey. We do how,
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to go with jazz magician. Nice.
Magician. Jazz
Okay.
magician.
Welcome back, Inebri-arts. This is Andy, the Inebri-art podcast, and we are recording at the New World Tavern. We kind of snuck in the back to reminisce, kind of. We miss being here. And, I'm just going to flat out say it. We have done this before. We already recorded this episode, and then, the technological powers that be crashed the computer, and we lost it. So we are here with Quincy from the Quins. What's up, man?
Hello. What's up?
So we did, 2 weeks ago? Was that?
Yeah,
right?
it was about 2 weeks ago, and we had.
It was great. We solved all of life's problems.
Really did.
We had a cure for COVID.
It could have been.
I don't remember what it was. It's unfortunate we lost that episode. I'm sorry, America.
It could have been really beneficial to everybody.
Yeah,
if we kept it, but,
it would have united the people of the world.
Fish is gonna kill us.
But no, I mean, it happens. It's not the first episode we've lost. It probably won't be the last.
No biggie.
It makes it weird because it's like I've already asked you questions. And I feel like I know things, and we found out we knew each other forever ago.
That was really cool too when we found out that you owned that store in East Bridgewater.
Yeah.
And I went in there with my friends way back in the day.
So
just a little turd running around.
What was your nerd taste of the day? Like, what were you there for comics?
My buddy Mike Walsh went in there with me one time after I found out about the place.
Yeah.
Because I just had a general taste in anything that was like art or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I never followed any series. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a comic book person.
Yeah.
But I love and appreciate all of it.
Well,
Just as a whole.
It was a very nerd-centric shop.
Yeah,
so even if you were into
cool
nerdy
anime movies and stuff
that
you couldn't find anywhere else, that was big for me. And my buddy Mike dragged me in there, or I told him about it, and he was like, "Let's go!" And I'm buying everything that they have that has to do with The Simpsons. I don't care what, because he's a freak for The Simpsons, dude, like a huge fan. So that was one of the memories of that place, and I just remember it kind of winded all over. Like the house is very odd layout.
It was weird
because doorways and hallways and weird.
It was like a house, and then there was like a little side room that almost looked like a 3-season porch kind of thing.
Yep.
And people would always come in and they would think that was the shop, and then they would kind of like peek in back and they'd be like, "Does this keep going?" You're like, "Yeah, man, it just keeps going."
Have fun.
Yeah.
It's Willy Wonka's Playhouse. Let's go.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and so were you a skater kid? Because we always had the skater kids at the park come in.
Not at all, dude.
Yeah.
It was all guitar for me, man. As soon as I found that, I was like, I suck at everything but this. This is my one thing that God has allowed me to do.
So we're at the New World today because you're playing here tonight, and you're doing a residency. Is that?
I just started, in 2 hours.
It started in 2 hours. So by the time this goes up, you'll start at a few weeks
I'll have
ago.
done a few,
Yeah.
but it's 6:30 to 9:30 every Wednesday, downtown Plymouth, here at New World Tavern, and I'm actually doing something kind of cool every week. I'm gonna have a special guests, local musicians who are
Magicians or musicians?
both. Hopefully, I can have somebody doing card tricks. I don't know how well that's gonna play next to me while I'm trying to sing, but yeah, a bunch of local musicians have agreed to do special guest spots with me, and I have about 7 or 8 already on deck.
Yeah.
And then as long as we can keep doing this, I guess we'll keep going into the winter time. But as far as right now, we're just looking at like November,
Nice.
pretty much.
And we were talking, so the back room here at the New World Tavern, for listeners who've never been, it's not a shady back room. It's actually like a concert hall.
It is. It's a real live venue.
Yeah.
It's the real deal.
And this was the last place you played before COVID.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that we had to redo the episode back here, because on March 13th, we were getting rumors that it was about to be a really big shutdown, and throughout the day, everybody was like, "Are we sure this show is even happening? Is it happening?" I kept calling the venue, being like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" They were like, "Yeah, it's under 200 people, so no problem." And we came in and we crushed the show. There was like 130 people here.
Was there like a weird vibe in the room, or were people
Yeah,
kind of
everybody was
like, "I'm
talking
gonna get
about it."
ripped up because this"? I don't know when.
It was a little bit of all of it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, we were drinking Coronas on stage, which in hindsight was really not funny. But it was funny at the time.
Yeah,
because we didn't realize how deeply horrible and depressed everybody was going to feel in the coming months. But it was a really good send-off. We have pictures from it, like really good pictures. Our boy, Eric Freilich, always shoots our shows for us when he can. And shout out Eric Freilich for photography. He's a killer. And it just is, looking back on them, I get really sad, man. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
I had a moment this afternoon where I was like, "Fuck everyone. I don't want to talk to anybody."
Oh, I had so many fuck everything moments. There was a period, like, March, April was definitely the darkest for me.
I feel like my worst was probably late May, or like probably June. I'd probably say June.
Yeah.
Because I think that whole time I'm like, this sucks, but hey, I still have a job. And then I got laid off,
Right.
like 3 months in or something like
And
that.
you were
And I was
like,
just like, I've never not had a job since I was like 16.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't.
Yeah, man.
What do people do?
It was a very dark time for me, man. It's just like, I can't even imagine, bro. Like, some people are dealing with like the homelessness and all this, and I'm incredibly fortunate that I still have a place to live and all that. But like, I was gigging 4 or 5 nights a week, and then it was just gone.
So,
you know what I mean?
What did you do? Because I was the same thing. Like, I worked a full-time job, and I'd say at least 4 nights a week I would leave that job and then go do Inebri-art stuff, whether it was record podcasts or do mug painting at a brewery or something.
Yeah.
So what did you do with your downtime? Because like that was my biggest thing, was like, I'm not a video game guy in general, and it just got to the point where I'm just sitting here like going, what am I going to
do?
do?
How many movies can I watch before
Yeah,
I'm
like
just like,
you know.
Jesus God Almighty?
I felt like my attention span was really bad too.
Dude, I know, man. I was on the phone a lot, and that was definitely not helping my mood. Just scrolling through Facebook and looking at all the chaos that was going on. And, of course, Tiger King happened.
Tiger King. I think that was required.
Yeah, that
and
was a requirement.
I wish Tiger King was the cure for COVID, because we would have all been cured
fine.
months ago.
Well, I mean, I got on the unemployment program as a gig worker because Massachusetts offers that.
Yeah.
And
But did you like do the
I got-
baking bread thing? And
no, I got a computer because I've never had a computer. So I got a MacBook that had GarageBand on it.
Okay.
And I have this interface from a million years ago that I can plug instruments into and record on a MacBook. And I started recording, and that definitely saved my life. But there was a lot of alcohol and weed induced recordings. It wasn't like
I see a lot of these people being like, "Oh, my COVID-15." I'm like, I think my COVID-15 is like COVID-25, and it's all beer.
Yeah, dude. I went through like maybe a handle of Tito's every 3 days or something.
Yeah.
It's not really anything that I should be proud of or bragging about,
But you
honestly.
know what? Everyone's in the same boat. It's like the number of pictures or comments I've seen where people being like, I just have been drinking nonstop.
It's just, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
I'm getting like, close to $1,000 a week on unemployment, and it's like party time, I guess, but in the worst possible way, under the worst possible circumstances.
And I think it really defined the definition of drinking problem, because everyone's always like, oh, if you're drinking alone, it's a problem. And like, I have no option.
Yeah.
you
Props
know?
to Governor Baker for leaving the liquor stores open, asshole.
Well, no,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I have I work at one.
No, you work at a nice one. We're
Yeah.
talking about the deep and dirty
But
ones.
it's also because that had been like a big discussion of like, oh, is this really essential? And I think it was a matter of, if you had taken all the really hardcore alcoholics and not given them the opportunity to buy their booze, you're then going to have every alcoholic in Massachusetts detoxing at the same exact time.
It was going to have a lot of people taken to the streets, as you will.
It would have been mayhem.
Yeah, it would have been crazy. But overall, I think to try to 180 into some positivity.
Yeah, I don't know how. I was initially like, oh, there's no way to not talk, and I just jumped right into COVID.
Jumped right in.
Sorry,
we got it out of the way.
All right, so it's done. COVID's done.
So I think what we really took out of it, as far as the band and playing music and stuff, what I really took out of it is that it was just a time to take a step back and realize that because we had so many big plans and we had so much high expectation for ourselves for this year in particular,
we're
coming into our biggest year yet, quote unquote.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean? But, when everybody falls, you're all back to square one. You know what I mean? If everybody falls at the same time. So what we realized, I think, is that it was a time to just take a step back and be humble, and realize that all we really want to do is make music, and we can still do that.
So was there like a little bit of a ego reset? I'm not implying that you had an ego.
No,
but
dude, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I am implying that we may have very well had some sort of ego about what we were going to do next, and I try to practice never thinking that I'm ever better or better off than anybody else, or have more ability to do more than other people, because I think that motivation and ability to create is there for everybody if they know how to find it. You know what I mean? But
so has this given you kind of and I feel like this is we talked about this last time, but there's a mentality of kind of like helping those behind you. But has this given that kind of like spark to really want to assist other musicians?
Absolutely, man. I mean, I've always tried my best to support the people around us, because the scene down here in the South Shore, which we should definitely talk about, is like nothing else I've ever experienced. I mean, we've tried to break into Boston, and Boston's really hard. We love Boston, but like South Shore right now in the past few years, I think thanks to Levitate and thanks to some of the venues around here, Soundcheck, New World Tavern, which is where we're sitting right now, and a bunch of other places, it's really become a hub for a lot of really amazing art and music.
And they even have like the Spire, which is more national acts. And
yeah, totally.
I feel like when they started, it was very much like one genre or style of music. But I'd say over the past 2 years, they've really kind of branched out, and they've gotten.
Yeah.
Oh God, who was it? They had some like metal band from like.
They had the dude from Scorpions there, right?
And we interviewed him. He was awesome.
And so Hitch opened for him, right?
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, he opened for him that night. With Jimmy C on
That's
saxophone.
not who I was thinking of. I'm trying to think of who it was. It was not Stain, but crap, I can't remember who it was now, but it was like someone from that same time frame.
Genre.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. I know. What you're saying.
I can't remember. They were kind of like they were like a one-hit wonder.
Butt rock.
Yeah,
type of stuff.
a little bit, a little bit.
Sorry.
But they had vapors of morphine, so they had a lot of cool stuff going on there.
Yeah, it's really not anything to turn your nose up at, the South Shore scene and what we got going on down here.
Do you think it's a scene that was created because of the people, like which came first, the people playing in the scene or the scene itself?
I think that there's a combination of the fact that there's so many young musicians coming up around here right now that just happen to be all happening at the same time and following in the footsteps of some amazing ones. And also the fact that we don't try to keep each other down in any way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, historically, bands will be competitive with each other if they're in the same circuit.
Right, it's trying to steal gigs.
Bad-mouthing, trying to sabotage things. But there's none of that, dude. There's, like, no animosity. I mean, I'm sure there is.
There's going to be some,
I'm sure there is some, but, like, for the most part, I don't think that anybody has any hatred towards each other. I think that we all are
That's
very...
weird. I talked to everyone else, and they all said bad things about you.
Oh, no. I'm Jim Carrey in, what's that movie? Truman Show.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the only
yeah,
one.
yeah.
But, no, I think that kind of support and love, we all grow together when people are subscribed to that kind of, like, community.
Yeah. See, it's weird for me because I've always known musicians, and I played instruments in high school, and we talked about that studio in Hanson. That
Priority,
yeah.
Yeah.
And how, I knew people had, studios there ages and ages ago, so it kind of, for me, just kind of, like, one day I looked around and I'm like, wow, there's a really good music scene here. And totally. I feel like it has been growing since then.
Absolutely, man. I really, that's funny that you mentioned Priority. That's where the Quins first used to practice in the second building. It wasn't in the big one.
Yeah.
The big, crazy maze of insanity.
There was, like,
the big Priority.
It was
building.
just danger.
Yeah, it was. It was very, very, very not up to code.
Yeah.
But the second building, which is a little small one next to it, they turned that into practice rooms, and we practiced there for a couple of years before we eventually got a room at Bandstand in Taunton. And
are you guys still in Taunton? Or
no,
now you're at Soundcheck, right?
When we do rehearse,
yeah,
we were gigging. It got to the point in the past couple of years where we were gigging so much that we didn't really rehearse unless we needed to, like, write some new tunes.
Yeah,
we're like, oh shit, we got to make a record, so we might as well. Start figure
practicing.
out a place to practice. Yeah. Exactly. Which we did for about 3 months before this most recent album came out. We started recording this most recent album. We rehearsed for 3 months and just learned and wrote new songs. Other than that, we really just were gigging full time, like at least 3 nights a week, full band, and then I was doing solo gigs and stuff here and there. Also had a cover band that we were doing on the side just to make cash,
Now, I remember, I think I saw you guys, I don't know if you're performing, but it was at Soundcheck, had like a meet and greet networking kind of thing.
Yeah. And like a panel of people.
Yeah, and I remember they were talking, and someone said something about, like, oh, how do you make money and do original stuff? And someone mentioned you guys. So when you are a cover band, you don't perform as the Quins.
No, we call it the Robins.
The Robins?
Yeah, and we just do, like, classic rock covers.
So that's just kind of that,
classic, dumpy dive bar,
yeah,
Rolling Stones type shit.
Exactly what you would expect from a cover band.
From a cover band,
yeah.
Right, exactly. Because I was in a cover band when I was like 18, 19.
Yeah.
And I love those guys to death, but it is the most miserable shit you could ever fucking do as a band. I hated it. I hated every second of it. Not knocking people that tribute bands. There's a lot of people that make a lot of money doing tribute acts, but I just could not fucking stand it, dude. It was horrible. I
There-
hated every second of it.
There are some cover musicians that I've even talked to that are like, it becomes so mind-numbing
Yeah.
that like they'll be watching whatever's on the TV at the bar and they'll just be playing and singing and not even really paying attention.
Not even paying. It's on autopilot.
Yeah.
I mean, we try to make it fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and the fact that I'm playing with really good players also makes it so much better because, it's a lot of the cover bands are kind of. I'm probably gonna get shit on for this, but like a lot of cover bands are people that have their normal day jobs and they're just doing it for fun
Right,
on the weekends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially around here, that's what we see a lot in the South Shore, Boston area. But like this is our life. This is what we do all the time. You know what I mean?
So how did you? Because you guys have a following, like a
Yeah.
legit following.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
So
man.
how did you grow that following? Because I feel like that.
Not stopping.
If I'm a bar owner and a band comes in, I don't give a shit really what they sound like. It's
As long
how
as
many
there's
people
a
they can
million
bring.
people in there. Yeah, right, exactly.
Because I've heard some really terrible bands and the place has been full.
Absolutely
And then you
stuffed.
see them like 2 weeks later at the same place.
Right, exactly.
So
It's just a matter of promotion or getting your name out there or something. And, I think that we actually, I don't like to think that we suck and we just have some kind of charisma that keeps people coming back. I'd like to think that it's the music. I hope it's the music. But for the most part, I think that, like, we just really try to project having a good time and, like, giving people a fun atmosphere to be at a show at.
There's definitely a different venue for original music. Like if you're at a sports bar and this band playing, you want to hear Freebird and
Pour some sugar on it.
that shit.
Yeah.
And because it's not, you're not there for the music. You're there. The
For
music is like an
atmosphere.
afterthought.
It's an afterthought. It's a background. Yeah.
So is there like a knack to, like you said, it's through promotion, but like, is it social media promotion? Like when you're doing your original stuff that you.
I don't know, man. I think that it's just, like I said, Levitate did a huge job getting our name out there for us, and I can never thank them enough for believing in us to put us on the stage that size
And then you
that many
in
people.
front of. They had
The second year
lot
we
of
played,
people.
it was probably, there was people as far as I could fucking see.
Yeah.
It was probably about 5,000 standing in front of the stage.
Jesus.
I'm probably overestimating, but that's
Yeah.
how it felt. It was in the thousands,
Yeah.
multiple thousands of people. And it was just, our name was advertised all year long as being on that bill.
Did you
with huge
ever
names.
stop to think about all the shows and festivals that you had been to in your life and all the bands that were the early bands and being like, fuck you?
Yeah,
Like, have you
I
ever
mean,
kind of been like,
Sure, man, sure, but I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of festivals won't put a crappy band on, even if it is the smaller slots.
Yeah.
Like, it's like.
But I just know I've
I know
been to
exactly what
shows
you're
like
saying, though.
the
I'm
place
all
is
guilty.
half empty,
Yeah.
and it's kind of quiet, and the
Right.
guy like messes up like even the
That
slightest
was
bit.
kind of
Someone's
our
like, you suck.
That was
You know,
kind of
yeah.
our experience at the Freedom Rally.
Yeah.
A couple times that we played. We played early in the day. Nobody really gave a shit. But
And I mean, we've
Whatever,
all been
dude.
there. I was asked to do a panel at a convention, and I got there. I'm like, cool. When's the panel? They're like, oh, in a half an hour. And I'm like, at 9:30 in the morning. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be fucking.
it's gonna be horrible.
There was like one guy in the audience. So now you're just talking amongst yourself, you know.
Yeah, totally. So but that's like comparatively speaking, that's the difference between a lot of festivals and Levitate. Everybody was fucking standing there watching us when we were playing.
Yeah.
It was crazy, dude. And like, we definitely got some permanent fans.
Yeah.
From the 2 years.
And that's
that
such
we
an
played.
amazing festival because it's in Marshfield, and no knock on Marshfield. It's just a sleepy
It's
New England town.
It's a New England waterfront town.
Yeah.
Levitate turned that place upside down. I swear to God.
And it's one of the biggest festivals in the country, right? Isn't
It
it?
absolutely is. I mean, Jack Johnson was supposed to headline this year,
No shit.
so it's like, you know what I mean? Like, what does that tell you?
Yeah, they get
That's
they
the
get
level
real
they're at right
people,
now.
yeah.
That's the level they're at right now. Yep, for sure.
Do you think Nope, we're not going to talk about that.
What is it?
No, we're not going to.
Come on,
We already talked about COVID. I'm not going to.
You're right. You're right.
No, it was just a dumb COVID question that I'm
Okay.
probably asked 100 times. So we touched last time on how you got involved in music.
Yes.
So let's recap
Wanna
that.
revamp it?
Let's revamp that a little bit.
I'll set the stage.
So Quincy, how did you get involved in music?
Well, I was a young 15-year-old boy, no directions, which is actually true. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I really didn't have much going on for me at all, like as far as self-confidence.
You're 15.
Right, I'm a 15-year-old
Yeah.
boy, but there was a lot of 15-year-old boys who were killing it at basketball, football,
Yeah.
really good at school. I was none of that, you know what I mean? And I was awkward, goofy, skinny,
Yeah.
small, weird. I had nothing. And then I picked up guitar, and I was just like, it took almost no effort to pick things up on the guitar. Like, as far as my learning ability on the guitar, I could mimic my, like, stuff that I saw or heard. I could mimic it immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, oh my God, I found something that I can actually feel good about. Not only that, but getting really sick at guitar is a cool thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's like way cooler than being really good at football.
It's 15.
Like,
it's
in
about
my
the
mind.
chicks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
well, I mean,
Yeah.
whatever. Just
Yeah.
recognition or like acknowledgement or respect from my peers or whatever the fuck motivated me at the time. But then it really just became about music after a certain point, and I've really found the beauty in it. And I just knew that it didn't take long for me to know that I didn't ever want to do anything else in my life, and that I was only ever going to take that seriously.
Do you feel there is such a thing as like innate talent? Because I've always been one that you can learn anything. You
True.
just have to commit the time to it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I think that I had a certain level of bass talent, because you have to, with music, you have to have some sort of semblance or some sort of like ear for pitch and like, I can sing too. I didn't realize I could sing until later, but like my family was musical, very musical. My mom played in bands when she was a teenager. My aunts all play. My uncle played. My cousin played for several years before I even picked it up. I didn't even think that I could, you know what I mean? But I was watching him being like, man, it would be so cool if I was like, you know what I mean? But I never even bothered to try. That was like the mentality of an idiot 12-year-old. Like, man, that would be so cool if I could. Well, have you ever tried? No.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I can't do that. Like, what?
How did you figure out you could sing?
Just tried it.
Was it
one
just
time.
like in the car? Or?
Well, it started out like I started learning how to play and sing was kind of big for me, because I wanted to write songs, and I listened to a lot of what 15-year-olds listen to, Nirvana and the Ramones and like the Beatles and all kinds of stuff, and then started getting into like the really guitar-y stuff, which is like obviously Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix and Allman Brothers and that kind of stuff. And then I fell into this kind of metal hole for a couple of years where I was like really into metal.
Don't bash it, man.
I love it, dude.
Right.
Dude, no.
Right.
It's not a hole, but like
Okay.
I went down that road for a little while. I fucking love metal, dude. It's a huge part of me. And then I went into more of the singer-songwriter type of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when I really realized that I could actually I had really good control over my voice, and I was like, wow, I can actually do stuff that I didn't think I could do. I was listening to a lot more Beatles, but I wasn't listening to them with a little kid's mind. I was listening to them with the mind of somebody who's been playing music for several years.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm like, holy crap, the songwriting and like the structure of the songs and all that. And like, Beach Boys with their harmonies and all, and like just songwriting in general became a huge like addiction for me, like just the way to structure a song. And it really helped me develop my singing voice by just sitting on acoustic guitar and writing songs.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the Quins came from, because I needed an outlet for that, because up to that point I was only playing lead guitar in all the bands that I was in, which I still love. I love being in a band and just playing lead guitar. That's one of my favorite things ever. But
does playing solo satisfy like a different part of your musician brain?
Yeah, definitely, because it's you are forced to make something out of silence, Whereas with a band, especially my band, you have a loud ass drummer behind you.
Yeah.
And you don't have any worries about making noise. You're filling up the room no matter. You don't even have to try because you have Dave behind you, smashing even between songs when you're trying to talk. It's like, he's just getting his yayas out the whole time. But like when you stop in a room and it's just you, even if only a few people clap, once they stop clapping, it's like you have to get things going again.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean? And it's like a totally different responsibility and set of rules that I'm terrible at, in my opinion, but I'm still trying my very best. And
It sounds like you guys really enjoy playing together.
yeah, totally.
But is there like those? I mean, there has to be those little nuances that irritate you about your best friends. Because watch this.
Yeah.
Watch this. Valentine's Day. Cash is king.
Cash is king, man. So anyway,
Dude, you didn't have to hit me.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we definitely, we're brothers after a certain point. You're riding around in a van with each other all the
Yeah.
time, especially on the travel gigs. And when
Sometimes it's fun to just poke them,
Yeah, dude. I mean, we definitely irritate each other. We're a bunch of hotheads. We're a bunch of like angry rock and roll assholes that like drink too much sometimes. Like, I mean, we're all doing a lot better now as far as like the partying and stuff. We were forced to stop basically, Donnie is my actual real life cousin that
Yeah.
I've been insanely close with my entire life. I consider him my brother, so there's that dynamic. You know what I mean? Like we're never
It just goes way back.
It goes
Yeah.
way back, and like eventually it becomes family.
Yeah.
Even with all four of us, Robbie and Dave knew each other for years. Really close friends, then jammed together when they were little, and like
Because you got the van.
Yeah, I got the van.
How far have you traveled in that thing? I mean, it's a big van, but not
we
when you
put
put
some-
4 guys and equipment in it.
we put some miles in it, man. We did a big festival last summer in central Pennsylvania. That's about the farthest we've gone, but this year was supposed to be a lot more, dude.
Yeah.
And everything,
We're not talking about that.
I know. I'm trying, dude.
See, it just comes up.
I can't talk about.
It just comes up.
I can't talk about what we were planning on doing without saying like, well, everything's.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we put some miles on it, and we were willing to put a lot more on it. We still are. Making it my daily driver now, just so we can keep it.
Yeah.
We were afraid we were gonna have to sell it there for a minute, but I was like, no, fuck that. It's my car now. I'm not getting rid of this thing. It's pure stubbornness. But yeah, we're putting out a new single this year, which we didn't think we were even going to be able to do after everything happened. So that's really exciting. We're just talking about shooting a music video for it, which should be pretty cool with Revelry Studios up in Manchester, New Hampshire.
You put out a call today for decorations, right? Am I remember that?
Yeah, that's for actually one of my solo songs. I'm
Oh,
doing a video
alright,
for.
alright.
One of the songs I recorded during the quarantine, actually.
Yeah.
And the video and song are basically like it's an emotional thing about what everything that has happened this year, and
Yeah.
kind of thinking that everything is going to be great, and then everything goes to shit, and how you deal with it. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to look beyond it now.
Yeah.
Kind of like I think that's the shittiest part of it all is you can't be like, okay, well, next January I'm going to start booking gigs.
Yeah,
Because
totally.
you just don't fucking know.
You have no idea.
So it's like
no
I'm
idea.
trying to like not plan but plan things.
Right, exactly. Or just at least know that you'll be able to do something when
Yeah.
things come back to normal, right?
And create new network connections. It's a
Totally.
really weird thing to try and be proactive. So I think it's awesome that you got a new song.
Yeah, me too, man. I mean, it was...
Because I think last time we were talking, you're like, you only write when the mood strikes you. It's not like you can just sit down and write. So
Right, yeah, totally. I mean, and like in this case, having that computer, like I said, I bought that computer with some of my my government money.
Your government money.
Yeah, and it really gave me an outlet to finally sit down and like, I've always been able to write songs on just the guitar, but like I've always had like I have like background vocals and things like that in my head that just drive me nuts when I can't get them out. You know what I mean? Because I was limited as far as what I could do.
Yeah.
But now having that recording program has definitely sparked a lot of creativity and motivation.
What are you editing on? Is it something like Audacity?
It's just
or
GarageBand.
GarageBand?
But I mean, dude, it gets the job done.
Everybody uses it.
It gets
It's got
the
to
job
be
done.
something decent about it.
And the newest update of GarageBand, as far as being very much a beginner on recording programs, the newest version of GarageBand is really nothing to scoff at. It's not bad, I'll say. For somebody of my skill level on the computer, it's not that bad.
Now, working on a video, is this something that you're shooting yourself, or are you bringing someone else in to do that?
No, the video for my song is being done by Red Bridge Productions. They did the coverage of the Freedom Rally a couple years ago, and actually both of them are friends of mine, again from East Bridgewater.
Yeah.
You might know one of them, Carl Benecki.
God damn it, I know that name.
Yeah.
I've at least heard
He's
of
real
him.
good friends with
Dupes
and all that
yeah.
crew, that whole scene. Yep, Brian Hansen and all them.
I just think it's so cool to see. I met Jay Dupe when he was little. He was like 15.
Yeah,
it was probably around the time you were starting to play guitar.
Exactly.
And it's just cool to see like people come out of Bridgewater and do like cool things like you and production.
The Lozons with UFC and all that.
Who's this?
Dan and Joe Lozon.
I don't know about them.
Oh man, they're both UFC fighters. And
professional punchers.
Professional athletic kick-assers. Good friends. Well, Danny's a good friend of mine, and yeah, man. I mean, it just goes to show that like, doesn't matter how small the town is, man. If there's talent there, it's gonna find its way out.
So I remember back then, the big person that came out of East Bridgewater was the guy that played the drummer.
Tom Everett Scott.
Yeah,
dude.
the drummer in The Wonders.
Yeah, man. Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And what's that movie?
The Wonders.
No, there was it's
The Thing You Do.
That Thing You Do.
Yeah. The Wonders was the band that
in the movie.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that it will get to the point where people be like, "Oh man, the Quins, they came from Bridgewater"?
I don't know, man. Maybe. I mean, think about it this way though. Like Aerosmith, they're not all from Boston. They're all from the surrounding area. But
right.
Where does everybody say they're from?
Boston.
So
well, that's kind of.
I hope
that's a knee-jerk reaction because
yeah.
you'd be so
or
surprised.
The Pixies or whatever.
Yeah. I was in Vegas back in the end of January, and people were like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I'd be like, "Plymouth, Mass," and they'd be like, "Where's that?"
Yes.
And I'd be like, the Pilgrims, Mayflower, Plymouth Rock, and they'd kind of be like, "We're from Boston."
Oh, Boston.
Boston. Yeah, they got a sports team.
You're forced into saying that.
Yeah.
Basically, like you don't have a choice.
But I figured Plymouth, at least.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, I don't think that the other parts of the country learn that history like we do here.
Yeah, I don't think they give a shit.
New England is kind of like, that's like our heritage, so it's part of what we learn when we're kids, but like they don't give a fuck about the Mayflower in Arizona.
It's probably because none of them have taken that field trip that we all have taken.
All took to Plymouth Plantation.
Yeah, there's the Plymouth Rock, and you're like, cool.
Yeah, totally. There it is. So there's the rock.
Maybe they're more into Alamo or
something. Yeah, there's history everywhere.
Yeah.
So wherever you live, that's your history.
So you're playing tonight here. Are you going to be doing Quins songs? Are you going to be doing covers? Are you going to be doing originals?
I'm going to do a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything?
Yeah, I got a lot of covers. Like I said, I'm having a special guest join me tonight and every Wednesday.
Who's joining you tonight?
His name is Lou Bones, and he's a guy that used to host a lot of open mics and has been doing anything you could think of musically in the Boston South Shore area over the past 45 years or something. And the way I met him was he was hosting open mic at a place called the Chili Head in West Bridgewater, Mass.
I know the Chili Head.
Yeah, so he used to
host. Is that
host.
still there?
No, it's changed hands a couple times. But back in the heyday, he used to host the open mics there, or was one of the hosts of the open mics. And I used to go in there and play before I even had my own acoustic guitar, but I was just starting to write songs.
You used to borrow his or something?
I would borrow a host, and he saw something in me then, and then when we started forming the band, he was like all about it, and he's given me nothing but like love and support and encouragement. And
Did we talk about him on the last podcast?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we talked about a lot of people.
Yeah, it sounds very familiar.
We did. We talked about everybody in the South Shore pretty much.
God,
but
Chili Heads, I haven't thought about that. I used to live kind of like right up the street from there.
yeah, man. It's something else now. It's about to open as another new place. It's been like 5 places since. But
where were the first places that the Quins started to play?
the very first place the Quins played was Max's Blues Cafe in Brockton, Mass.
Oh, it had the cat outside.
Yeah, the cat on the sign, dude. Yeah.
I know that place. Right
That
across
place
from
was,
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, baby. That
That is
was
not a good neighborhood.
No. Nope, it was a dump, but we were just happy to have a show. And we honestly, dude, for our very first show, we had been practicing and so excited about it that we played for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
For a band's first show to have that much material, I thought it was kind of cool that we were like that motivated. Plus, I had been playing in other bands for so long. This was the first time I was really having an outing with my own band,
Yeah.
so to speak. You know?
Do you ever try to make sure that you don't forget about that excitement? Like, so I feel like a lot of times when you do something that you love, the challenge is to make it not feel like a job. Like, do you ever have that moment where you have to kind of stop yourself and be like, even if it's just loading in, and you're like, I fucking hate loading in.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
where you just have to be like, what am I talking about? I am
What am
carrying
I-
my guitar into my gig.
it's
you
my
know?
gig,
Yeah.
making money,
Yeah.
doing what I love. Absolutely. I mean, you have to kick yourself in the ass and be like, dude, you have no reason to complain. Because I did the 9 to 5. I have a son who just turned 11 the other day, and you know, for the longest time, I thought that what I needed to do was have that 9 to 5 and have those, like, that stability and security. Like, I thought that that's what stability and security was.
Yep.
But with being a parent, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that I was only hurting myself, and in the long run, it would be hurting him because he'd be seeing his dad be miserable,
Right,
and
yeah.
half-assing his life. And now I do what I love, and I'm actually making a living at it, or I was before.
We're not talking about that.
No, we're not talking about that. But it took me a while to make the decision to do it full time.
Yeah. It's
And
really...
when I did, I was like, it was a revelation. It took a little bit of while
yeah.
to get it going.
Sure. I mean, but that's one of
But-
those, if it was easy, everybody would do it kind of moments.
Right,
where,
exactly. But now we're rocking and rolling, dude. Like, honestly, kind of looking at a full calendar again, even after everything that's happened, which is amazing.
That's
to me.
awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, my kids are, you know, my son turned 18 this year. My daughter's on the verge of adulthood.
Wow.
And it's like, I had that kind of same revelation. I was working, I was like a supervisor for Home Depot, and there
Yep.
was a lot of pressure on me to move up into the management area. And like, I was really just depressed and miserable, and there was this job position that I was supposed to be like putting in for, and I was out walking one day and I'm like, what am I doing? I don't want to do that.
What? Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's as simple as that.
it-
I do not want to do
Yeah,
this.
I'm like, everything I enjoy will be gone if I do that
Right.
for an extra.
What, $3 an hour? or
No, it
something?
was like an extra $20,000 a year.
Ooh,
Like, it was
okay.
real money. Like, it was
Okay.
no joke.
Sorry.
It was, but it's one of those. Do I want to trade what I love for $20,000? And that's and it really. And then I was like, no, I'd rather struggle and be happy
Right.
than make money and be miserable.
Yeah.
And from that day, like, I've had no regrets about that whatsoever.
Same here, brother.
And I've gotten so many more opportunities. But the interesting thing now is, like, my kids are now, you know, my son's headed to college, and it's like,
That's insane.
and it's
dude.
like that. How do I explain to them that you should focus on what you love? It's better to fail at what you love than to succeed at something that's sucking
Something
your
that's-
soul out.
And it's somebody else's agenda
Yeah.
instead of your own.
Do you have you ever thought that, like, you have to
Instill that
in
my
him?
son?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I also don't, in some sort of weird, like, preventative measure, I'm like, don't do what I did, please. Be good at school, go to college, you know what I mean? Like, But at the same time,
Well,
I would
even
never
that go to
hate-
college thing is
I can't ever say that I will force him.
Yeah.
But I would love it. I would love to see him get all A's,
Yeah.
go to college, crush it, go to some, travel,
yeah.
do whatever, all the things I didn't really get to do
It-
until I started playing music.
Right, until you start doing the thing that you love.
Right.
Yeah.
Ah!
See? But
Yeah.
no, but where my son is going to college, like, I'm looking at the landscape now, and I don't want him to go unless he knows what he wants to do. Because other than that, you're just digging yourself into a hole of debt.
Right.
Take a year off if that's what, figure out what you want to do.
Yep. Totally. I mean, the crazy thing is like the way that things are going in the country and in the world right now, who the hell knows what's even going to be happening by the time he gets to like college graduation age.
Right.
Like, what is the world even going to be at that point? If it can get this crazy, this fast, I mean, imagine what 8 years down the line is going to look like. You know what I mean? So it's a very gloom and doom way of looking at things.
Yeah,
but-
you're a total Debbie Downer.
Sorry, dude. I mean, like, look at the track record
Yeah.
of everything that's going on.
Well, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and someone was kind of like, "Oh, back when things were good," and the host was like, "When's that?" He's like, "You are really missing the point. We live at the best possible time in history. Yes, things are shitty the past 3 years.
comparatively speaking, Right.
There's more food now than there's ever been. There's more healthcare than there's ever been. It's
Right.
not easy to get, and nothing's perfect. But there's people.
you would rather live in a mud hut. Right,
Or
or
just,
like-
would you rather be, I don't know, LGBTQ and live in the 40s? No, thank
No,
you.
Absolutely not.
And Louis C.K. used to do a great bit about time travel. He's like, if you're not a white male, don't time travel
Don't time
back
travel
past, I
'cause
think,
you're
the
screwed.
70s. He's like,
Yeah, exactly. You know what? You're absolutely right. It's
so-
all about perspective.
Yeah,
and maybe
so-
I'm just.
Don't get me wrong. This afternoon, if you talk to me, I'd be like, life is over.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But then I got
know.
out of the house, got to hang out with friends and
Exactly,
fish.
dude. And I just had to friggin' check myself just hearing you say that, because earlier in the podcast, I said that I'm using this time to try to be humble and realize that I really do have everything that I could ever need. And I can still make music. My fingers still work. I can still play. I can still sing.
But
know
I mean,
what I
that's the
mean?
perfect thing is like, people kind of look at that like, oh, I wasn't great today or I was in a bad mood today. You can't and won't and don't have to be perfect every day, but just
No.
kind of have that moment of like reflection and be like, hey man, things are good.
It could be worse. The lights are on, dude. We're alive.
Could be worse. We could be in a state that isn't taking precautions.
Oh my gosh, man.
No shade to them because it's, leadership top down, but, things, I'm trying to be positive. Things are going to work out.
Yeah, man. I hope so.
There'll be someday I'll be texting Quincy, be like, hey man, come back on the podcast. You'd be like, I am far too famous to be on your podcast.
I don't think I'll ever do that. Never. I always like to talk,
Yeah.
blab about stuff.
But it's been a lot of fun to redo this.
Yeah,
And I
man.
appreciate you giving us the opportunity to do it again.
I
So,
think we
fish,
managed-
do not fuck this up.
I think we managed to cover some new ground and
And
cover
some
the
old, yeah.
same-
See, that's always the trick. Is like I don't want to ask the same shit, but I kind of want to cover some of the same shit. So it can be weird.
I think we did it.
Yeah, I think we did all right.
I think we did it.
So where can people go to hear Quins music? Check out Quins music. Find out where those dates are. Blah 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 blah.
So it's the Quins with one N. Everybody always spells it with two N's. You're not going to find us if you spell it with two N's. It's Quins. TheQuinsBand.com. The Quins on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. We
Bandcamp?
are Bandcamp too. Not all of our music is available. The new album isn't on Bandcamp, but there is some stuff on there. And then we're available everywhere you can buy music online.
Everywhere good Quins are found.
Everywhere good Quins are found. Oh, and we just recently launched a fan page. It's called the Quins Official Fan Page, which is a very creative title, I know.
Is that on the Facebook?
It's on the Facebook, yep.
Nice.
So go check that out.
I'll have to follow that.
You're gonna have to go to that to get some certain stuff that you can't get anywhere else.
Ooh.
We've decided.
Secret.
Secret
That,
content.
That seems like that's like a very now kind of thing where you're like,
Yeah.
you have to have extra content or unreleased stuff or
Dude,
special merch.
Dude,
or,
we have hours of footage from recording the last album that nobody has seen. We filmed the entire process.
Nice.
Nobody's even seen it yet.
That sounds like that could be incriminating.
Could say we definitely weren't sober. But yes, so there's stuff. There's stuff coming.
Yeah.
We got stuff in the vault.
Last time we talked, you implied there was a sound check date coming up.
Still working on that. I am playing solo a sound check for ticketed sales on the 16th of September.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And that's all I got so far. This probably will come out way after that.
Probably.
Yeah.
But, you know.
But
Time travel back.
Yeah, man.
You know.
Yeah, man. So
I was really just asking for myself. No offense, listeners, but you know, sometimes
you just gotta do you.
think of you. Yeah.
Exactly.
So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you guys back next week.
Bye.
That's it, Fish. You can stop it now.
You will forget me eventually, so stop the condescension. We both know I have to go. Time takes forever to mean anything in my mind. So girl, just thought you should know. You can try waiting if you wanna, but I know that you'll be on another man before you know. If replacing me's the only way to chase me out of your heart, then girl, just let it be so. But I'm leaving you with all my love, all my love. Come on now, baby, all my love. And I can't look back. Our time's been wasted on a marriage of two hearts with constipation. It's a love that doesn't flow, or ruthless in a struggle with a soul that don't exist. So girl, just let it go. But I'm leaving you with all my love, all my love. Come on now, baby, all my love. And I can't look back. Yeah, I can't spend no more time in the world. I can't get
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. You can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or on Instagram at Inebri-art6. You can email us at Inebri-art@yahoo.com. And make sure you listen to the other podcasts on the Inebri-art Podcast Network, including Bar Talk, Old Colony Cast, Retro Redoctopus, America's Hometown Horror Podcast, and our newest one, Theme Park Legends, a podcast about working at theme parks. What else? And we'll catch you again next time.